The White Sox are not going to win the division. Breaking news. Their chances
Why? You gave up so soon.
much slimmer than the St. Louis Cardinals. They lost 10 games in a row entering Sunday. The weekend was a roller coaster. If you're into drama, I mean, it was packed. I'm looking at the amount of notes I have from the weekend. So let's start with a couple losses in a row. And that includes Saturday when our dude Lance Lynn pitched pretty well. But in the first inning, Luis Robert is running out of ground ball, and I would say walking out of ground ball. And Pedro Grifol, their skipper, removes him from the game. Afterward, it seemed like the miscommunication is Robert says he's hurt, but decided to only tell Elvis Andrus and Eloy Jimenez. Not usually a winning formula to just let two rando teammates know that you're not even close to 100% and then walk out a ground ball and then say, oops, it's because I'm hurt. Aren't you supposed to tell someone that?
Yes. You're also supposed to know the bench coach's name. Did you see that part of the interview?
No.
He didn't know Charlie Montoya's name, who's the bench coach for the White Sox.
No freaking way.
Yeah. So that it was just a bad look. He hit, for people that didn't see it, he hits like a chopper that he probably would have beat out easily if he was running hard. And he's jogging. I mean, yogging, as they say in Anchorman. The J is silent. Here it is. Now, he's fast. And I think even Kratz and I had a shot at beating this out. But that is full shutdown mode. And he's out by steps. And his excuse or his reason was, I ran hard yesterday and I'm tight today, so I don't want to run hard again today. But I didn't want to tell anybody because I wouldn't play. So I told Eloy and Elvis Andrus that I was not going to run hard. And then they interviewed him after the game with the true translator. Here's the tweet.
I'll read from James Fegan of The Athletic. Pedro Grifol said he thought Robert Jr. possibly had a mental lapse and that he was benched and forced the expectation for ground balls to be run out. Robert Jr. said he had been dealing with a tight right hamstring and didn't tell the coaching staff even after he was benched.
This is the classic. I got caught in the cookie jar with my hand, and now I have time to think about why I didn't run hard, and so I'm going to come up with something. Because if you're hurt, you go to the training room, right, Kratzy? And they'll ask you, can you play? And if you say yes, they'll usually give you a go.
Mm-hmm.
At least make you go out there and run a little bit and say, hey, let's see how it feels. But to do this, not run, not tell anybody. And then the other weird thing about this is Elvis and Eloy didn't come out and say they knew either. I didn't see that reported anywhere. They didn't come out and say, oh, we knew about this. We're on board. He told us he was hurt. This all came after he had been benched. I give Pedro Grifol credit. He benched him, which he should have because that effort was atrocious. But, man, and then they had a no-hitter. Lance Lynn was dealing. They get to the seventh inning. They were the first team I thought I read since 1938 to be winning, to have a no-hitter into the seventh inning and give up double-digits runs and lose by a certain amount. It was some crazy.
They got smacked 12-3.
After winning 3-0
yeah.
with a no-hitter, Lance was dealing. Apparently, he mixed in some salads and was dealing.
He said, fuck you, sweeper, and was dealing.
Oh, he didn't throw any, by the way.
Correct.
He threw 0 sweepers.
Which is why you watch or listen to this show, because he literally said that. And it was a pitch he was using, and he said, I'm done with it. And he was not joking.
No, he threw 0. If you look at the pitch stats, he threw 0 sweeper / slider, whatever you want to call it, and was carving. But, yeah, it was a bad look all around for the White Sox. And good luck, boys.
Yeah, I don't even know where to begin. Like, the translator through Robert Jr., what he forgot was what Luis really was saying was, well, they didn't translate that part of it. Like, he clearly, if you're not hurt, there's no excuse for that. And I've heard an expression for coaches, managers, based on how your players play, how your players are conducting themselves. You're either teaching it, oblivious to it, or you're okay with it. So Pedro Grifol has to figure it out. And it's, you have a mandate on how you run down to first base. Like, Pedro Grifol, he didn't even want to watch the White Sox this weekend. He got booted out of 2 games. The first game or the second game they got booted out of was like in the first inning. He's like, I'm going in where it's dry. I don't have to see exactly what's going to happen out here. But there's almost too many people to call out. Like Luis Robert only talking to Elvis and Eloy about what was ailing him. Oh, I only told my buddies. And that other guy who stands next to Pedro all the time, I told him too. Like, there's some communication issues. There's some accountability issues. And that starts at the top, especially with the special advisors to the whatever, role AJ has. That's where I think that it should start to roll.
AJ has nothing to do with this. But...
No, it's definitely AJ.
So we remember now, Tony La Russa last year did tell guys, oh, you're a little sore, don't run hard. I'm giving you permission to not run hard.
Ugh.
So maybe Pedro didn't tell Luis Robert that he didn't have that rule. And Luis Robert was still playing from 2022 rules instead of 2023.
Well, and you remember the entire reason why the White Sox haven't been good for the past year and a half now is because of Tony La Russa, right? It's all his fault. He was the ultimate scapegoat last year. They were like, this team's terrible. Everything would change if Tony wasn't there. Hold up.
They're actually worse now.
They're worse. They are.
Listen, they have TA coming back tomorrow.
Yes.
Hopefully. They had a huge win yesterday. Like I said, Andrew Vaughn, they were down 9-5 going to the 9th inning, and they came back and won 12-9. Andrew Vaughn hit a 3-run walk-off homer in the rain. There was about 400 fans there chanting, sell the team. And then Andrew Vaughn hits a home run. They say keep the team now because we're all happy again. So can it turn around? Yeah. Is it early? Yeah, but as Yogi Berra used to say, it's getting late early because they've dug themselves such a hole. What are they, 9 games out, 10 games out already, and we're May 1st? That's a huge hole to climb out of.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. There's a lot of teams that we should be spending this much time on, but there's an absolute dumpster fire going on in Chicago. And when you're 8 games back, like that is a lot in kind of a mediocre division. Like not like a division where you're like, oh well, the Rays came out hot. Like they've just been bad. It's more of like, hey, are they going for the first pick overall? Are they trying to get as many lottery balls as possible? Like it's them in Oakland, and they better be careful.
KC's behind them too. KC.
Yeah, let's not forget this is the worst. You said it's like a kind of mediocre division. Kratz, this is the worst division in baseball.
Okay, it's the worst.
Not even close.
Okay.
Kansas City is worse than Chicago somehow. They're 7-22. It's just the expectations weren't high. Not that they were super high for Chicago. You just didn't expect them to be 8-21, 9 games out of first already. Detroit is terrible. They are terrible. They're 10-17.
So if you want to go, because you're big on this, you want to blast the Rays for having an easy schedule.
I didn't blast the Rays for having an easy schedule.
They won all these games against the easy teams.
I just think pump the brakes. It's not an historically epic team. So pump the brakes on the
White Sox. Look at their schedule and who they play.
But everyone looks hard to them because they're terrible.
You can't have it both ways.
You're right. They do.
Look at who they play.
They do have a soft schedule down the street, or for the rest of the season, because they get to play
the Rays 7 times.
Right.
The hottest team in the world. They went 1-6.
Bad time to play them.
Bad time. They played the Phillies, the Orioles, the Astros 4 already. That's pretty.
I don't think they're a terrible team, and I definitely think they're a talented team. What I do think is they're a disaster organization right now. There's just something going on every day. Yeah. Even your team broadcaster is calling out one of the Bulldog pitchers, and he did apologize. I will give him that. Steve Stone on his Twitter said, a few days ago, I made a comment on the radio about Lance Lynn and his weight as it pertained to endurance. I made a mistake and take responsibility. No excuses and no rationalizations. I was wrong. Lance and I spoke yesterday, and I apologized. He accepted, and we shook hands. So at least one issue is resolved on the South side.
My question is for Steve Stone. Would he have apologized if there wasn't instantaneous blowback from everybody?
No.
Okay. Well,
he clearly didn't know it was wrong.
Are they going to play on the same Shirts and Skins basketball team? Are they going to go Skins when they play the pickup game at the at the White Sox alumni game here next week?
No, they're gonna pick up a sponsorship at Salads R Us or something like that.
Oh,
We got into this last week. I don't want to get into it again, but you just can't. You can't do it. You can't
Yeah.
take personal shots at guys. It's just bad for everybody, and especially when. Here's the other thing: is not only did Stone take the shot, he wasn't on the road trip either when he did it. So
That's the best time to take a shot because you don't even have to face them.
Yeah. So he didn't have to walk into the clubhouse. They were in Toronto, I believe, when we interviewed Lance. And it was amazing. By the way, that was amazing timing by you. You said the local hacks on the Chicago radio are saying this about you. He answered the question. Then it was like 2 hours later, Steve Stone's like, "Oh, I didn't hear what he said on foul territory, but I'm going to make up my own assumptions that he's overweight and needs to mix in salads." Did you know that was coming, Scott? Because people ask me if we had heard him say that first, and I said no. That came after what we had just talked to Lance about.
I'm just that good.
Oh my
Scott
God.
is that good. He used to work at
Wow.
ESP. He has ESP.
ESP, yeah, not ESPN.
No,
Well, I did many years ago, but I didn't no start to my bets. So sometimes you get hot. It just happens.